Hey everybody, this is Casey with Arizona Age of Sigmar. Today we have a battle report for Free Peoples versus the Flesh Eater Courts. This was recorded at the Games Workshop in North Scottsdale, which is the 2017 Store of the Year. This game is for about 1,500 points using the open war cards. First we picked a basic deployment. Then for the objective we picked Field of Glory, which is basically 3 objectives that we have to try to hold as many as we can. And then for the twist we agreed on a 2-inch movement and +1 to run charge that we felt we could both benefit from. Today we had Vinny on the Free Peoples. He brought a Free Guild General as his army general with the inspiring command trait, no battle shock, for all his units within 8 inches, and the artifact, the Blade of the Realms, for extra mortal wounds for every 6 to wound. For his army he brought 3 Demigryph Knights, a Field Mortar, .40 Free Guild Guard with swords and shields, which are protecting 20 Free Guild crossbowmen behind, and supported by 10 Free Guild Greatswords. Right near that he's got a Witch Hunter and a unit of 20 Free Guild Guard with halberds. He also has 5 Free Guild Outrider crossbowmen and a cannon. For the Flesh Eater Courts General, we have an infested Abhorrent Ghoul King on Terrorgeist. For his command trait, he's Savage Beyond Reason, which gives him a 5-up for his Feeding Frenzy, double pile-in. The artifact is the Grim Garland, -2 bravery within 6 inches. And for the Army's Delusion, we have the Royal Hunt, which allows you to reroll 1 to hit versus enemy heroes, and then 1 to wound as well if it's the enemy general. The rest of the Flesh Eater Courts, we have a large block of 40 ghouls and a small block of 10 ghouls. We have 3 Crypt Horrors, a Vargulf Courtier. We also have a Gas Courtier and the Necromancer for the double pile-in. With my Flesh Eater Courts being a lot smaller, I was able to finish deployment first and force the Free Peoples to take the first turn, hoping to get a nasty back-to-back turn to really do some damage in the combat phase. The Free People chose to stay in their well-defended position, just move some Outriders up to try to shoot, but unfortunately we're still out of range. Still out of range of the mortar, so all he could do was fire the cannon into the Terrorgeist, which unfortunately didn't roll very well and just scored a single wound. Free Peoples weren't able to do anything significant, which was looking great for the Flesh Eaters. To start the Flesh Eater's turn, the Necromancer summons a unit of Spirit Hosts. Next, the Ghoul King casts Unholy Vitality to protect himself. For the movement phase, the Flesh Eaters all move up, getting dangerously close to the Free Peoples. In the shooting phase, the Terrorgeist attacked. The Spirit Host and the Terrorgeist made successful charges. The Terrorgeist attacked first and mutilated the Outriders. The Spirit Host and Demigryph each caused 2 wounds apiece. And that would close out the turn. The initiative dice were cast and the Flesh Eaters won the roll, ready for a brutal double turn against the Free Peoples. To start the turn, the Necromancer cast Dance Macabre on the large group of ghouls, and the Ghoul King cast Unholy Vitality on himself. Next, the Flesh Eaters moved up, getting ready to make as many charges as possible. In the shooting phase, the Terrorgeist took out this cannon crew before they could become a problem. The Flesh Eaters had no problems throwing everything they have into the Free Peoples. This time the Free Peoples were ready for a fight, first charging their greatswords in to support their guard. Next, the crossbowmen blasted the charging horrors, causing 7 wounds and taking a major chunk out of the unit. Enraged, the Terrorgeist slaughtered most of the Halberdiers before they had a chance to defend themselves. The guard put everything they had into the ghouls, but they only suffered a few casualties. The Spirit Hosts were struggling, but managed to kill their first Demigryph Knight. Meanwhile, what few greatswords were in combat were able to finish off another horror. The brutal combat continued, with the Bargul finishing off some of the Free Guild Guard, and then the Demigryph Knights finished off one of the Spirit Hosts. The Halberdiers did what they could against the Terrorgeist, but weren't able to do much. And lastly, the Free Guild Guard weathered 2 rounds of combat against the ghouls. At the end of the turn, not much was susceptible to battle shock. No units were lost, and the standstill would have to continue. To start their turn, the Free Peoples used Hold the Line on 3 of their units for +1 to hit and wound. They then went straight into their shooting phase to start raising hell down on the Flesh Eaters. The monkeys loaded up the mortar to take a chunk out of the ghouls. The crossbowmen shot everything they have at the Bargulf and almost took it down. The swordsmen struck hard in the combat phase, first finishing off the Crypt Horror unit, and then finishing off the Bargulf. The Terrorgeist took a chunk out of the Halberdiers, but it would not be enough. The Spirit Hosts and the Demigryph would continue to exchange minor blows. The ghouls tried their best, but the combat was not going very well for them. The Halberdiers caused 2 wounds on the Terrorgeist to wrap up the turn. At this point, both armies are falling apart, desperately hoping to win the initiative roll. The Free Peoples won it, once again holding the line and then barraging the ghouls with mortar fire. The crossbowmen turned their fire on the Terrorgeist, but could only cause 4 wounds. In the charge phase, the general made a daring long charge into the courtier and the necromancer. The greatswords would then wrap around the swordsmen to get good positioning against the ghouls. They attacked first and took a large chunk out of the few remaining ghouls. At that point, the ghouls were in really bad shape and couldn't really get anything going. The general struck hard at the weak courtier, but could only cause 3 wounds, leaving him with 1 wound remaining. The Terrorgeist finally managed to take out the few remaining Halberdiers. Next, the Demigryph reduced the Spirit Host to 1 wound. In his final combat, the courtier got his revenge and somehow managed to cause 3 wounds to the general's tough armor. At the start of the Flesh Eater's turn, the Ghoul King used his royal blood to heal 2 wounds, but failed his Unholy Vitality spell. The Terrorgeist then moved up the back line and shrieked at the crossbowmen, killing 5 of them. The Terrorgeist then charged the crossbowmen, allowing them to take a free shot which nearly ripped the Terrorgeist apart. The Spirit Hosts continued to struggle against the Demigryphs. The crossbowmen were not able to finish off the Terrorgeist, and then when the Terrorgeist attacked back, he completely whiffed all of his attacks. In a desperate attack, the courtier managed to finish off the Free Guild general. At the end of the turn, the Free Peoples finished off what few ghouls remained. The Free Peoples won the initiative roll for turn 4 and immediately started to seize the objectives. In the shooting phase, the crossbowmen made short work of the wounded Terrorgeist. In the combat phase, the Demogryphs were finally able to take down the spirit hosts. The last hope for the Flesh Eaters would be to try to get the Free Peoples off this objective. With the general dead, the Revenge card came into play, but it would not be enough to kill all of them. Again, the Free Peoples seized the initiative, immediately taking the second objective. The crossbowmen then launched a volley into the Necromancer, taking him down. The Demogryphs charged the ghouls in the back of the board to try to take the last objective, but only managed to score 1 wound. When they attacked back though, they managed to kill the Demogryph. Though the ghouls managed to hold the point and finish off the Demogryphs, the Courtier was unable to displace them from the center objective, leaving the Free Peoples with more objectives to end the game. The Free Peoples clearly played to their strength, playing very defensively, maximizing their shooting, with really powerful burst damage mid-game when they start holding the line. It was a very hard-fought game that could have went either way, with several minor events turning the tide back and forth. If you look at it at face value, you might say that the Free Peoples' double turn at the start of turn 3 really gave them the advantage to win the game. What you might not realize, however, is that was completely my fault. I made a really common mistake that most people don't think about. At the end of turn 1, I was in really good positioning. I had protection on my general, but I was really gung-ho to take that double turn and throw everything I have into a major attack against the Free People. I didn't stop to realize the Free People didn't want the turn. They wanted to play defensively and they wanted me to close the gap for their shooting. If I had instead deferred the turn and forced them to go first, they would have had issues with range, and while they may have gotten some good shooting, I was in great position to undo most of the wounds that they did at the start of my turn. In games of Age of Sigmar, it's important to keep in mind when you win the initiative, sometimes it's not always the best option to take 2 turns or to take the turn first. Always think about the fact that you may be giving your opponent 2 turns by taking the turn, and especially if you got a lot of your spells and effects going in the previous turn, it may be more beneficial to force your opponent to take their turn against your buffed army rather than going first and risk losing your spells and effects. Regardless, the Free Peoples played very well this game and deserved this hard-fought victory. Close, intense games like this are my favorite in Age of Sigmar, and I'm glad I got to share it with all of you. Let me know what you think in the comments and keep an eye out for more Age of Sigmar videos in the future.